What's up, everybody, and welcome back. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. Go ahead and check them out in the description to this video. They're linked there as usual for you guys. We do have more popcorn storms happening today. Basically, it's like putting a bunch of popcorn kernels in a pan and deciding which one's going to pop first. That's what forecasting these storms is basically like for these next couple of days. So that's what we're going to talk about into today's pattern as well as tomorrow. It's going to persist. We got very weak forcing, guys, so lots of us could see thunderstorms. Who's going to get severe storms is more in the question. And then Saturday, things could organize a little bit, could have more potential for the I-35 corridor in Oklahoma and North Texas. So OKC and DFW, you guys are in that threat for Saturday. Going to take a look at that breakdown. But before we get into our weather, come see us at the NTRCA Not So Many Trade Show. That's our next upcoming event here on June 15th in Grapevine, Texas. It's the North Texas Roofing and Contracting Association, I believe. And you guys can come see Brandon at our booth there. So come say hello to him. Come say hi to the Hales Race crew. Then into yesterday, really quick a recap. Like I said, there's a bunch of severe weather that could potentially happen across the nation today. Lots of heavy thunderstorms for a good portion of us, and that's kind of what happened yesterday. Notably, the Denver area did get some severe hail into yesterday afternoon and evening. Got up to golf ball sized hail there. It was isolated, but got a couple reports through the southeast side of Denver yesterday. Then Stillwater and Tulsa also got a couple of severe hail shots with some stronger storms that moved through there yesterday. Got up to ping pong balls in Stillwater and then quarters through parts of Tulsa yesterday. Then got a ton of storms through the northeast. Some areas did get some severe hail as well as severe wind, particularly just to the northeast of New York. A good chunk of people got hit by some quarters into yesterday evening. So watching today for continued risks. Zooming in, not really on any one particular area here because we've got one large-scale low spinning away in the northwest or northeast here. That's what's bringing all that smoke down from Canada into your area if you guys are in the New England states, and it's also what's forcing some storms out east. Then out west, we got one more, and we'll see it more clearly in a second here, but out in the desert southwest, and that's what's fueling our western storms. But for the central part of the nation, we're pretty warm, pretty humid, in the 70s and 80s, starting to really feel like summer here through the central plains where we're sitting in that ridge between these two low pressures. And so again, just very general thunderstorms fueled by just the sheer amount of heat in the central plains for today. So here's our water vapor. Here's where we got a couple of those low pressure systems. Again, you can see that one in New England really clearly where it's spinning over Maine. That's that first low pressure system. And then here's that second one that's moving through the Los Angeles-Las Vegas corridor. And what that's going to do is going to pull all that dry air into New Mexico area right now. And then it's going to continue to pull this band of moisture up towards the Rocky Mountain west. So we'll continue to see some storms associated with kind of that interaction that we're seeing going right now. But it's a very diffuse pattern again, so you're kind of seeing storms a lot of places right now with that humidity. I mean, it's 65-degree dew points in St. Louis, 65 in Dallas with temperatures in the 80s. So feeling really sticky outside, feeling very much like summertime thunderstorm weather through the central plains, and then more storms possible where we have a little bit of forcing through the northwest as well as parts of the southeast with this low pressure system that's going to be fueling those today. So here's our instability. Again, it's kind of all over right now, but we do have some pockets of instability coupled with that forcing here through the U.S. Southeast, as well as through parts of Texas and New Mexico, and then up in the northern states, where again, we've got that low pressure interaction with that humidity moving through into this afternoon. Then it goes away at night once it gets cooler, and then we see a resurgence of all that instability into tomorrow when we see that afternoon heating by around 4 p.m. And then we're back to the races through the southeast all the way through the northwest for severe thunderstorm chances into tomorrow. So watching all that for the next 48 hours, here's what we're going to be looking like through the northwest as well as parts of the North Plains, all right? So find your state, find your area, and here's your future radar for that up this way. By around 4 p.m., going to start to see storms initiating through the Butte area, all the way down through Pocatello, and then starting to make their way south into the Nevada area, and then up through the Dakotas. We got more storms forming across 94 down towards Sioux Falls. Those will continue to intensify a little bit through this afternoon. Here we are by 6 p.m. Central Time. Got a little bit more yellow on the board here with some stronger thunderstorms here and there. But again, it's going to be very scattered for what we see severe-wise. Got a ton of thunderstorm coverage up through these regions, but not a ton of severe storms expected into today, but still some. So I've got to talk to you guys about what's going on. So then down into Texas and New Mexico, very scattered storm coverage, some starting just to the east of Amarillo by around 4 p.m., as well as the Roswell area in New Mexico. Could potentially see some storms forming. If you guys are along I-25, you got those storms rolling off the mountains as well. Then as those continue off to the east, could potentially see some hailers get going down through South Texas. We got some pretty high instability over there, as well as all the way up through far eastern New Mexico. Could see a couple hailers off of those, and then they're going to continue to kind of make their way off to the east before they fizzle out in the evening hours and through the overnight for Texas and New Mexico. Then last, down into the southeast, got those Florida storms reliable as ever down through the Panhandle by around 2 p.m. just with that sea breeze and that heating down there. Got those storms with the potential to produce some hail. Then we're going to see another band forming through the Charleston area, making its way towards Savannah late this afternoon and evening. All of that moving off the coast by around midnight. So lots of storm coverage for you guys today. So for your hail forecast, all 4 of those areas outlined here, Florida and the southeast, as well as plenty of areas southwest. So jumping right in, we got all the way from Bend, Oregon, eastward into the Butte, Montana area. Could potentially see some hail. Again, large $1.25 to $1.5 size swath here, but it's just a lot of thunderstorm coverage, and a few of those could go severe, producing that $1.25 to $1.5 sized hail. Same deal for you guys down in Texas and New Mexico. Low end of chance of severe storms across the board, from Midland all the way up into Amarillo, up into the Central Plains and North Plains, Fargo down into, yes, Kansas City, Missouri. Could potentially see a very low-end severe threat today, $1.25 to $1.5 for you guys. And then Charleston down into Miami, same story for you. Now for wind, we don't really have a tornado threat today. Again, it's just really weak and scattered, but with any of those areas, we could potentially see some storms producing 50, 60 mile an hour gusts here and there. Again, from Butte off into Bend, Oregon, down into Amarillo and the Midland, Odessa area, all the way to the Rio Grande, up through the Central Plains from Fargo down into central Missouri, and then through the southeast from Charleston, South Carolina, all the way down into Miami, Florida. Could potentially see a couple strong gusts today. So take note today, same thing tomorrow. It's going to be plenty of storm coverage for some of you guys, but very low severe storm coverage, if that makes sense. So watching the same thing into tomorrow. Got storms forming by around 3 for the Dakotas once again, and then a whole mess out west of potentially severe storms, some gusty winds and some $1.25 to $1.5 sized hail once again. Things pick up a little bit more in North Dakota by around 6 p.m. A couple of those cells could get going, producing some severe weather for your afternoon and evening. And then again, through Idaho all the way into Billings, could continue to see some potential severe storms popping up through the late evening hours, and then those will kind of taper off through the overnight. Then for the southeast and Texas. Got some storms starting up by around 6 p.m. We're starting to see more coverage for the area from Savannah inward through the Florida, Georgia panhandle and border area there, then down into Texas. Going to see some storms through the Waco, Houston area that are grabbing onto some instability through there, potentially ramping up a little bit, producing some severe hail for us in Texas. Then it's just going to continue through the evening and once again taper off once that sun goes down. So for tomorrow's hail forecast, it's going to be for Montana all the way through parts of the plains and the southeast once again. Quarters to $50 across the board for right now. And Missoula into Billings, low-end chance for you guys, but you will see a decent amount of storm coverage again through here. Lots of thunder, lots of heavy rain, but most of that hail is going to stay small, potentially seeing some quarters through that area. Then through South Texas, less storm coverage. Quarters to $50 for the storms that do go severe from Waco into San Antonio and Houston. Then Fargo down into potentially Grand Island area of Nebraska, thinking Nevada, Nebraska. Could potentially see some quarters into tomorrow's storm chances. And then from Macon down into Jacksonville, same story for you guys. For wind, same thing. So Montana all the way through the plains and the southeast. So if you guys are in Missoula, if you guys are in Butte, Billings, you got a chance to see some gusty winds with those storms. Waco to San Antonio to Houston, lowest of the low end with those very scattered storms tracking through tomorrow. Potentially see some gusty winds on the outflow of that storm. Basically just means when it kind of collapses and pushes that air out. Could potentially see some stronger winds with that. And then from Fargo into Grand Island and from Macon into Jacksonville, could see some strong winds. Same story for you all. So very scattered for the next 48 hours, but what are we looking at into this weekend? We could potentially see a very brief pattern shift, and with that, we could get some severe storms popping through the I-35 corridor. So there's that low pressure system that we're watching today, really kind of sticking around in the northeast. So again, all that air quality that you guys have been seeing lowering from that smoke getting pulled into the region, that is going to continue for the next few days. So be aware of that. That's kind of your story if you guys are up through the northeast right now. But watching that one low pressure system kind of get pulled back up into the jet stream that's really sticking far north except for the New England states right now. Watching that for Friday, we'll start to see this stretch outward, and then we'll start to see another little shortwave trough, very weak, coming into the Central Plains for your Saturday afternoon. Weak, but enough to get organized thunderstorm development through that area. So that's really what we're watching. And again, remember, we've had the past few days to build up that heat, build up all that humidity from the Gulf. The atmosphere is ready to produce storms. It's just whether we can get enough forcing from this low pressure system tracking through for your Saturday. And again, watching that low pressure continue to push out that very weak feature of the jet stream into the Central Plains, and could help us out with some storm development through Oklahoma City and Dallas into Saturday. Now the models are showing first morning storms tracking out, and then a potential for a couple of isolated cells, and they'll show up as weak. If they're isolated cells, they'll show up kind of like that on our future radar as that tracks out of the area. So we're watching these potentially form behind this first morning system. All of that tracking down to the southeast, with this first system starting to intensify potentially overnight, and more storms tracking in behind it for Oklahoma City and western Oklahoma. So that whole corridor there could potentially get some severe thunderstorms with that system passing through. So here is your risk area for that. Anywhere from really like Woodward, Oklahoma, down into just north of Waco, could potentially see some severe storms. Hail, wind, and tornado are all on the risk at this point. And we're going to continue watching to see if this shifts or updates as that system continues to kind of bop around in the New England states. So that's what we got for right now. You guys can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. And you guys stay tuned to our pages. Christine is going to go live today to tell you guys more about what's going on with the rest of our storm season, kind of give us an update to that seasonal hail forecast. So stay tuned for her live later this afternoon. Then if you guys want to get in contact with us, you can call us at 855-334-4245, email us at info@hailtrace.com, or check out hailtrace.com for more details. And as always, you can scan that QR code up above me or click the link in our description for a demo of our products. We'll let you guys know what's happening into the next few days with those severe storm chances, so stay tuned. Stay tuned to your weather alerts as always. And for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.